Greetings. Welcome to PJ's Kitchen. My name is Peter James from peterjamesx.com with the Babylon Report. Today we are looking at the subject of the Rapture. And the title for this message is There is no Rapture. The study will focus on Revelation chapter 12. So Revelation chapter 12, and we will start in verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Now, it is known that in the Bible, a woman is used to represent a church, whether it is a true church or a false church. You'll find that in Revelation chapter 17 and verse 5, Babylon is mentioned there. And that is the great mystery Babylon, the false church, the mother of harlots. In verse 2 it says, the woman, and she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. So this woman, this church, was expecting a child. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. That is Satan, the red dragon. He was a serpent in Genesis, and he matured, and by the time we reach Revelation, he is a great dragon, and the 7 heads and 10 horns with 7 crowns are his system, his political and religious system, which would take another video to explain. In verse 4 it says, and his tail, that is the dragon, serpent's tail, drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven. Now here's another symbol, stars. Often you see stars referred to as angels. So his tail drew a 3rd part of the angels of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman. So we have the dragon, which is Satan when he rebelled, and he managed to persuade 1/3 of the angels to follow him in his rebellion, and they were cast to the earth. And now the dragon stood, this is verse 4 of Revelation 12, before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, fought to devour her child as soon as it was born. So this woman was giving birth to a child, and Satan was there to try to destroy the child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. Now, almost I'm sure every single Christian I've spoken to about this have said, this man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron is Christ. I've got 2 Bibles here. I've got my normal Bible, which has no notes in it at all, and then I have got a study Bible. And this study Bible, above verse 5, it says, the child Christ. So we can see that even the translators and the people who put together the Bible put their own comments in there, which are not in the original. And in this particular case, it is wrong and it is misleading. Therefore, it is easy for me to see why 99.9% of Christianity thinks that the man-child is Christ. It is all to do with this matter of ruling the nations with a rod of iron and the child being caught up to God on his throne. Now, let us deal with this. Before we go through, let us deal with this specific question. Is this child Christ? Now, we said the woman represents a church. So if the woman was bringing forth a child, that means the woman, who was the church, was bringing forth the man-child who was Christ. So, therefore, the church brought forth Christ. Well, that is simply not true. Christ, the woman did not bring forth Christ. It was Christ who established his church, which can never fall. The gates of hell will never prevail against it. And Mary certainly was not bringing forth a child at this particular point in time of Revelation 12, because Revelation was written probably around 90 years, 90 AD, which would have been over 60 years after Christ had been born, died, resurrected, and ascended. Therefore, why would it be telling us that she brought forth a man-child who was to rule the nations with a rod of iron? Now, we can understand this business of ruling the nations with a rod of iron, if we turn to Revelation chapter 2. We want to go back to Revelation chapter 2. And in Revelation chapters 2 and chapter 3, that comprises letters to the churches. And Christ, who says he's in the midst of the churches, explains all the things that are wrong with the churches. But he also tells them, if they repent and change and become overcomers, what would happen to them? What would be their reward? And then there was a church in Thyatira, and he says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father.